Tonight, America, here's what you need to know. This country is going to be set on fire unless somebody starts paying attention to the warning signs. A huge part of the country is being preached a message that is racist and anti-American and full of hate. And some of the preachers have the ear of a possible future president. Hello, wake up. If we don't forget about the PC bullcrap and start calling evil and racism by its name, real racism, then we're in for a world of hurt. If we let it happen, you know what? Hate to say it, but we'll all look like a bunch of monkeys. Ken Blackwell is a senior fellow for family empowerment at the Family Research Council. Where do I have this wrong, Ken?
I tell you, Glenn, you know, we are being sidetracked by a discussion around the behaviors of some folks who are outside of the pale of dignity in terms of a human conversation. But I'll tell you, this is diverting us from looking at the real issue with Senator Obama. It is not his race. It is not the racialism of his pastors and his spiritual advisors. It is his radical agenda. And I think that that's a concern. Here's a guy who wants to raise our taxes by $1 trillion. Here's a guy who says on the record that he's for partial birth abortion. Here's a guy who has said on the record that he would sit down without preconditions with some of the tyrants of the world, and he has us discussing, you know, the
Ken,
speech.
I got news for you. I think this is the first time I've disagreed with you. You couldn't be more wrong. Everything you need to know about Barack Obama, I learned this from my mother. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. This goes to everything that you need to know about Barack Obama and his decision-making, his discernment.
Well, we don't disagree. Because my grandmother had that same saying. She also said, "Let me look at your calendar. It tells me who you work with, who you associate with, and how you spend your time." And this is a part of a vetting process. His vetting process started very late. It takes several years normally for you to vet candidates for the presidency of the United States. He's been with us on short order, and now we're doing the vetting. And people are going to check his calendar, who he associates with, what they say, because they want to get a clear picture of who this guy is. So they're separating him from his rhetoric, and they're taking a look at his record, and they're taking a look at his associates, and I'll tell you, it fits a disturbing pattern. Here's a guy who's associated with some of the most radical names, the Weather Underground, Saul Alinsky, and it goes on.
Right. Okay, Ken, I got to run. I got to move to Lanny Davis. Lanny, I love you. Former White House special counsel, Hillary Clinton supporter, fundraiser, yada, yada, yada. Lanny, it's like we're matter and antimatter. We might just both disappear. I think that's why they have us in separate rooms here.
Thank you for saving both of our reputations.
I want to talk to you because I read your Wall Street Journal piece today, and I agree with you. But let me just go with the hardest question first. I agree with you, but where have you been? Is this something that you're now putting out because your candidate is in trouble, or is this something that you really have believed the whole time?
Well, I have two reasons. I certainly do not take away Senator Obama's sincerity and his integrity and his disagreement with Reverend Wright's hate speech. And I give him credit for energizing a whole young generation of Democrats, including members of my family. So I give him a lot of credit. I wrote this piece in agony because I was so troubled by his failure to either leave the congregation over these many years of these hateful sermons, or at least speak up against them until just recently. And then even when he ran for president, he appointed this man as a member of his official religious advisory committee, and yet the speech that he made, which I found eloquent and moving, didn't address the kind of concerns that I'm expressing. And I finally, after being accused of being dishonorable and poisoning the well because I was worried about what kind of individual would sit silently while his family and his preacher, speaking on behalf of God in a church, wouldn't speak up against this hateful speech, that I wrote this piece saying it's time to do the answering of these questions, Senator Obama, who I sincerely respect, now, rather than wait to the general election, if you're the nominee, when it will be too late.
So let me go there, Lanny, because this is what I've been saying the whole time. I've been saying if I were Hillary Clinton's advisor, I would be telling, because I know that people are saying, oh, you can't speak out about this, you can't, because it'll divide the party. And I would have been saying to Hillary Clinton, It is your responsibility. If you really care about the Democratic Party, it is your responsibility to do this. You may lose. It may not make a difference. But if you expect him to win, you have to know that he can stand the fire and the full heat, because if you think the Republicans and the 527s are not going to take every bit of this audio and show this over and over again and ask the question, if this is who he picks for a spiritual advisor, who is he going to pick that you don't know about that's also advising him? How can he be this wrong on this? You'll destroy the Democratic Party because he'll lose. He won't be able to stand up for that unless you bring it out now.
Well, I don't mind somebody being wrong or making a mistake and then saying in retrospect I made a misjudgment, but this goes to 2007 where he actually appointed this man to his campaign committee. And
you heard the video of the other preacher that I played. There's a third preacher out there that is just as hateful, not as closely aligned, but this guy that I just played was in his campaign commercial for Senate. I mean,
I didn't know about this, Reverend Meeks, until this very moment.
Yeah.
And
look him up, Lanny.
One of the reasons that I'm for Senator Clinton, and the two reasons I wrote the piece, is first, because I think she has superior judgment and experience and is ready to be president and to debate Senator McCain as an equal when it comes to a level of experience on foreign affairs as opposed to Senator Obama. So I'm for Senator Clinton because I think she's better qualified.
Okay.
But I also thought that Senator Obama needs to address these issues now, including this most recent one, because there are a lot of people like me who are good Democrats. I consider myself a liberal Democrat, Glenn. I use the word liberal unapologetically.
Yeah,
and if I'm uneasy, if I'm this uneasy that I actually finally ended up writing this piece,
right.
There are conservative Reagan Democrats, there are moderate Republicans that we need to win, that I am afraid that Senator Obama is not going to be able to win without addressing these questions
Lanny,
now.
Last question. Was it good for you? Because it was good for me just now. Good for you?
It's nice to meet you. I hope to continue to disagree with you
All right,
respectfully.
you want to leave with your reputation. That's fine.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thanks a lot,
I appreciate
Lanny.
it.
Coming up, they've been touring